Hi, welcome to the Senior League Roundup for the 29th of March. In the Premier Division, Alsager were up against it from the start when they could only muster 10 men at over to Kidsgrove, and the extra man advantage counted as Kidsgrove came away with a 3-0 victory. Dan Vegas and Jordan Conliffe scored a goal each in the first half to end any hopes Alsager really had, and it was definitely sealed in the second half when Vegas added his second, and the defeat actually sees Alsager rooted at the bottom of the division. Ball Green, and this is the third week in a row I've done this. Every game I've been to take the video footage, what you see on the screen, has ended 0-0. That must be the kiss of death. Ball Green and Newcastle Town, that you can see on the screen, guess what? They played out a 0-0 draw. Which sees Ball Green drop down to 4th while Castle stay in 8th place. Keele University picked up an important point away at Cheadle to edge away from the bottom of the table following a 1-1 draw. The influential Mickey Hewitt gave Keele a first half lead, but they couldn't hold on for victory as John Evans levelled for Cheadle to earn his side a point. Redgate had to come from behind at home to Hanley to pick up a 3-2 victory and move into 3rd place in the league table. Redgate did initially open the scoring in the 7th minute, but Hanley turned the game on its head with Aaron Lewis and Tom Lawton both coolly slotting home to put Redgate under serious pressure. However, the home side responded through Will Sargent and Jepson to seal a much needed 3 points. Utoxeter picked up a comfortable 4-1 victory at home to Abbey Horton to ensure that they would stay 6 points clear at the top of the division. A hat-trick from the impressive Martin Gadsby and a Kyle Esplin strike sealed the points for Utoxeter, but their clean sheet was denied when Josh Graham headed home late on for Abbey. Wolverhampton kept up their pursuit of Utoxeter at the top after a convincing 5-1 victory over Hilton Harriers. Free-scoring Mark Price kept up his impressive goal-scoring run with a hat-trick, and the game was sealed with a Jamie Kempson brace, while Hilton managed to reply through Craig Saville, although it was a deflected effort. Stapen Hill extended their lead at the top of Division 1 with a narrow 1-0 win over Abbey Horton. A Dean Blade strike in the first half was enough to seal all 3 points as Stapen Hill go 8 points clear of nearest rivals Knipersley Vicks. Ashbourne cruised to a 3-0 victory at home to Norton. Sean Millwood, Charles Mann and James Ingram all scored for Ashbourne as Norton continued to struggle and stay 3rd bottom in the table. But they do have games in hand in and around of the teams around them. Congleton's robust defence allowed them to pick up a solid 2-0 victory over mid-table rivals Betley. A brace from Benny was enough to give Congleton all 3 points, whilst the plaudits will go to Congleton's defence as they stood firm all afternoon to see off the Betley attacks. Bradwell kept up their hopes of catching table-topping Stapen Hill as they moved into 4th place after a superb 3-1 victory over rivals Silverdale. A Scott O'Brien brace and a superb strike from Richard Jarvis was enough to see off Silverdale, who replied through an unfortunate own goal. Knipersley Vicks came from behind against Brereton Social to pick up a much-needed 2-1 win and stay 8 points behind leaders Stapen Hill. Michael Harding had given Brereton the lead in the first half, but the game was turned around as Cameron Harrison levelled the scoring, and then Paul Dutton scored the vital winner for Knipersley. MMU, if they could keep up their recent results and keep that going, with the games in hand, they could prove a problem to the leaders. And they came from a goal down at home to Cheadle SMU to stay well in the hunt for the title after a 2-1 victory. Cheadle took a shock lead when Pat Callahan lashed home from 10 yards, but a brace from the influential Aidan Denver saw MMU come away with the points, and a victory which sees them 11 points behind the leaders, but with the all-important 4 games in hand. Milton United picked up a tight 1-0 victory over struggling Hilton to move them above Whittington into 5th place in Division 2. A Danny Powell strike early in the second half was enough to see off Hilton, who stayed 3rd bottom. League CSOB reserves came from a goal down against Hawkins to share the points in a 1-1 scoreline. Hawkins opened the scoring in the first half with Josh Curtis heading home, but Leek picked up a credible point thanks to Sam Chorley. Leek moved above Stone in the 7th and leave Hawkins 9 points behind the leaders, Featherstone with 2 games in hand. LAFC picked up a well-earned 2-0 victory at home to Cheadle to shed some light on their disappointing season, which sees them lurking just above the bottom. Goals from Simon Worthington and Sam Richards was enough to see off a Cheadle side who didn't really turn up on the day and stayed 9th in the table. Tunstall Town, well, they were unlucky not to obtain a point at home to Longton as the away side picked up a fortuitous 1-0 victory. An own goal in the second half was all that separated the sides as Longton moved up a place into 10th. Utoxeter edged out Longton Adderley Green by 1-0 as they moved to within 12 points of their rivals with a huge 7 games in hand. A James Curley strike laid on was enough to secure all 3 points as Utoxeter keep up their hopes of achieving second place with a solid win over a good Longton side.